After the Snow White thing, I'm gonna be honest, I will be shocked if she gets cast in almost anything. Nobody will want to cast her. And here's the real reason why I think nobody's gonna want to cast Rachel Zegler. It actually has nothing to do with any of her comments besides that. And it has to do with her making the Free Palestine post on her promotion for the film. That is the reason why I think that no other studio will ever work with her again. And it's not because like, oh, it's Jews. No, it's not about that at all. It's because she's taking a political issue and she is putting it on the media that she's putting out there. Yeah, exactly. Oh, politics by? Exactly, right? Yeah, people are immediately out of that. It's unprofessional. It's PR nightmare. It's just alienating.
Snow White was supposed to be her career's biggest movie, but was so brutally criticized, it instead became the one that destroyed her life.
Pretty much I can't post a picture of myself on Twitter without a bunch of people telling me how ugly I am.
Welcome to my fucking life. Then don't. Like, damn.
That's hard. Simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Oh, jeez.
Or perhaps it was all part of the plan, because decades ago, Walt Disney himself said Snow White should never be remade, but they went ahead.
Some things aren't meant to be remade, they're meant to be remastered. So somehow he predicted this was going to happen, or they're meant to be remembered. How the fuck did he know that? Damn.
But they went ahead anyway, and by the time the trailer dropped, people hated it already.
Yeah.
If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. Was it that hard to find someone who actually looks like Snow White?
Yeah.
This comment made a good point. I just find it funny that her name is Snow White and she's not white. It just defeats the purpose. Petitions to cancel the remake started immediately.
Yeah, people went
quickly
absolutely
snowballing
crazy
into
on this.
over
2.3 million dislikes. Imagine having that much of a dedicated hater base. That's insane.
2 million dislikes,
Jesus.
leading people to wonder why Disney wasn't canceling the movie or making some changes. Well, they did make changes. For starters, they swapped out real dwarf actors for CGI, which looked hideous. Instead of the beloved original characters, we got creepy, soulless abominations that looked like they crawled out of a failed video game. And strangely, in a
because doing the opposite was considered like some form of ableism. That's the reason why. It was so stupid.
action remake, even the trees were CGI, which was an atrocious waste of money as well. To make matters worse,
So they couldn't find any trees, guys. You gotta understand, I mean, filming is hard.
removed these iconic tracks from the original, one of which being Someday My Prince Will Come, because
What a
apparently
surprise.
Snow White dreaming of love makes her too dependent, which only makes sense considering there's no prince either, just a bandit named Jonathan.
So there's no Prince Charming and just a bandit. Wow, this really is for women nowadays, isn't it? Jesus. That's bad.
The writers intentionally didn't want a prince saving Snow White.
By making him a thief and a lowlife, rather than an authoritative figure of any kind. It's as if the idea of a balanced relationship is offensive to them.
Of course it is, because a lot of these women, you know what they have? Personal unresolved trauma. And so they have some issue that they've had with some man in their life, and they're looking for media to reinforce the way that they feel. That's it. Yep, a chip on their shoulder. Absolutely.
It felt more like a political statement than a kid's movie. And in case it isn't obvious, it was a garbage cash grab. The ending scenes felt like a Diddy party, and no surprise, people absolutely hated it. But there was one
Snow
thing
White is worse than AIDS.
they hated even more. Snow White herself. Why? Well, arrogance. That's why. Back in 2020, Rachel Zegler called Jeremy Renner a racist, sexist, transphobic garbage monster based on
What the fuck is this bitch talking about? Oh my god! Racist, sexist, transphobic garbage monster. Damn!
irrelevant allegations that were proven to be false. And when they use
okay, there we go. So let's see here. Let me read it. Jeremy Renner has faced serious allegations from his ex-wife, including claims of threats and reckless behavior. What does that have to do with being transphobic? No criminal charges have been filed against him, and the allegations have not been definitively proven. Rayner has consistently denied the allegations, and legal proceedings so far have not resulted in any findings supporting any claims. So, okay. So he didn't do it, probably. All right. Yep. Dog, she just projecting?
Be false. And when the user told her to learn the facts before running her mouth, she arrogantly replied, "Better catch my mouth, cause she running."
Better catch my mouth, cause she running by? It is crazy to me that anybody that is not in 4th grade or below is saying this. This is like, this is some shit that this is like talk to the hand. It's on that level, guys. Oh my God. Not even remotely going to address the story that came out today, but he has made racist, sexist, and transphobic comment and totally disrespected the deaf community. What the fuck are you talking about?
She never should have been cast, but this will be her last movie, judging by her comments.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very
Yeah.
evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story.
Yeah.
With a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
After calling the prince a stalker, she said this.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White.
Dude, this is why. Do you know who's really happy that Google just brought out that VEO3? The guys that are like working production studios at Hollywood. They are thinking, thank fucking God. We've only got to deal with this shit for maybe 10 more years and then it's over. And we're never going to have to think about this shit ever again.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about...
Why is that bad? Like, that's what's so weird. Why is that bad? It's bad to hope to have a husband and like to fall in love. Why is this bad? Well, I think that you will find out if you were her and you knew her dating life as well as she did. I think that these comments would make perfect sense. I do. I think that it would immediately, everything would be like, oh, of course she thinks that. Absolutely.
becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Now, in the beginning, her statements weren't that outrageous, although there was one massive issue. She couldn't keep her mouth shut.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like,
Isn't that I mean, I don't understand how do you have some, I mean, this isn't even a live interview. Like, how do you greenlight this and let it go live? I didn't like the original show. Okay, so why are you redoing it? What the hell's wrong with you?
I'm being so serious. I watched it once, never revisited Snow White again.
Zegler gives I Deserve This role more than anyone, and the fact that she has zero good to say about the original is disgusting narcissist, which wasn't wrong.
Is it how many times in a row are we gonna get shows? You know, like we were talking about Dredd before. You know, Carl Urban didn't want to show his face in Judge Dredd, even though he's this really well-known actor, because that's not what Judge Dredd would have done. And Henry Cavill playing Geralt as well. It's just, again, how many times has somebody who hated the movie or hated the original, been able to make something that was good? I feel like that doesn't really happen very often, you know?
For example, she seemed oddly excited saying her co-star's scenes could get cut.
I have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Which is funny, considering...
What a bitch, bro. What a bitch. Jeez, man. Why would you say that? Because she's a bitch. That's why. What do you mean? Oh, why does this happen? Why would it be?
she acts like she's making the movie herself. But ironically,
Yeah.
she became the main reason people didn't want to watch it.
Yep.
And she eventually explained why. After Donald Trump won the election, Rachel posted this story basically calling him full of
That
hate.
was it, bro. Like, Donald won. He put... Donald killed her career. That was it.
But at the end, she said,
It's actually how Donald, like, the Donald reckoning of Karens, the reverberations of this will be felt for 15 years. And then I remember J.D. Vance saying, frankly, Margaret, I don't care. That was, yeah, bro, like, that shit was, I was so glad to finally fucking hear that shit. Yeah. Thank God.
Trump
Yep.
supporters, voters, and
Chuds
Trump
are back.
himself never know peace.
This is a good one.
Being
Yeah.
completely opposite to the message she always preached. Clearly, she was a hypocrite as well.
Well, no, every single person who preaches acceptance and love will be the first person to, pillory you and make up lies about you the moment that you say something that they disagree with. This is what they always do. They're like, well, we are so accepting and so supportive of everybody that anyone who disagrees with us, it's okay for us to basically kill them. Naturally.
Disney made her
Obviously.
apologize and hired a social media guru to review every post until the movie's release.
Jesus. Think about how much money that is. Think about how much time that is. Millions of dollars invested on this bullshit. Oh my God.
Yet the guru clearly did a terrible job because when the trailer was released, Rachel thanked the viewers for the views, but also added, always remember Free Palestine.
This was it. This is the point where things got bad. Because there's nothing wrong with saying this. This is totally fine. But when you're attaching it to the promotion of your media, that's an issue. That's an issue. Bringing politics to work. How many of you guys have been in like, I've even had to take HR modules that say, don't talk about politics at work.
Now, this wasn't a huge deal, but her co-star was Israeli and supported Israel. Therefore, the tension between them was at its peak during the promotion. The real issue, however, was that Rachel's tweet led to Gal receiving death.
I don't even know how true that is because, like, I mean, yeah, she's Israeli and she was in the IDF and she doesn't think Israel should be destroyed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't empathize with Palestinians. This weird dichotomy that's been created is totally fake. It's not like it's insane.
Threats. So many, in fact, that she had to be given personal security. Rachel destroyed any hopes the movie had left.
Yep.
And now, the internet was about to destroy her. Because before the movie could flop, her face already had. Edna Mode,
Jesus Christ, bro, like.
Willy Wonka, The Little Lad,
And
Violet.
you can see, like, if you look at the color grading here, how is the color grading for the movie worse than this? Like, in my opinion, she looks way better in this. She even looks better in this as well. Like, how is it that you fucked up this bad? This is awful. Really? It just looks like shit.
Before the movie could flop, her face already had. Edna Mode, Willy Wonka, The Little Lad, Violet, Lisa Rinna, Coconut Head, Beoshala, and the most
Farquaad.
accurate of all, Lord Farquaad.
Yeah.
On Reddit, people stated, her eyes got beef, haven't made eye contact in years. Those eyes are drifting apart like continents. Soon they'll need a passport to meet. The hashtag Not My Snow White went massive viral on Twitter.
Jesus.
With posts like, why does Latina Snow White look like the long haul Roderick? Hashtag Not
What
My
is
Snow
this?
White.
Long haul Roderick?
Snow White versus Evil Queen who is jealous of her looks. With literally thousands of people
I
just
mean,
thousands of people just roasting her. He clipped her face from the movie and turned it into art like this, while explaining CGI dwarves were used instead of real actors due to Rachel being 5'2", making her not much taller than a little person.
I don't know why, but I think that's funny. And also, by the way, that didn't stop Lord of the Rings. Like, you're telling me that, like, this is some ancient lost lore that a movie was able to do 25 years ago, but you can't figure it out?
Users were thrilled that Lord Farquaad was finally back, and for the first time, people were rooting for the apple to win. Petitions to remove Rachel from the movie started popping up, with supporters calling her a nasty person, whilst editing pictures to turn the evil queen into Snow White. Fans disliked her so much because she has an ego the size of an elephant, but looks like Lord Farquaad's mom with the attitude of a whiny brat. If you think she was the wrong choice for Snow White, like this. Almost 10,000 people agreed. Things like
Jesus. On some random website? I don't even know what website that is. That's insane.
had gotten so bad, she was being stalked and receiving death threats. As Zegler shared, the backlash led to people standing outside her apartment, screaming profanities. But did she
That's crazy. Like, anybody doing that needs to, in my opinion, go to jail. I think if you take an internet beef and you take a problem that you have with a personality or anything like that, and you take it into the real world, you just need to go to jail. Like, I asked myself the question, right? And does anybody actually have an answer for this? Is there any reason they shouldn't go to jail? It's stalking, it's harassment, it's weird, it puts people in danger. Why should a civilized society tolerate that type of mental illness? We don't have enough space? Just build another one. Yeah, just make a new jail.
really deserve all this? And what did it do to her?
I think
Yeah, just do a new one.
a lot of people are very mean, so when I do public appearances, I get very anxious. I had an anxiety attack on the plane ride here.
I bet.
She first explained how intense the backlash was.
Pretty much I can't post a picture of myself on Twitter without a bunch of people telling me how ugly I am.
Almost quitting social media because it sent her into depression.
So I'm very hesitant to share a lot of myself with the world.
That's what happens when you're a bitch, is that nobody likes you. I know it sounds crazy, but that's those are the consequences of your actions. That's life.
These days, I'm trying to be less active and check less and scroll less and read less, mostly because when I do look at things or read things on social media, it makes me upset. It makes me like a worse person, I think. It makes me...
Yeah, you're right. If you hadn't used social media from the first place, maybe you wouldn't have gone and ruined the fucking movie. Because you got brain rotted from a bunch of like internet yas queens, and then you thought that shit was real, and then it goes to an actual audience of real people, and they say, what the fuck is this bitch talking about? This is so weird. Like, we don't want to watch this.
Harbor a lot of feelings of guilt, doubt, anxiety, depression.
It got so bad, she even considered getting plastic surgery.
And also because I know how mean people get when like pictures of me surface on the internet. It's gotten to a point where I actually had the thought in my brain of what surgery and how much surgery...
I can guarantee you that any surgery that she gets, people will only make it worse. That dude, I don't even know why you make a video talking about this. Like, if it's actually bothering you, you should never like, this is my opinion. You ever heard of the phrase a pecking party? I've said this before, so I apologize if you've heard this before. Chickens, whenever one chicken starts bleeding, all of the other chickens around it peck that chicken to death where it was bleeding until it's dead. That's what happens on the internet. And the only way to stop it is to not bleed. I don't know why people don't tell her that. You had a social media guru and they couldn't even tell you this? Damn. To death until it's dead? Absolutely.
Do I have to get for people to finally stop?
One chicken. You know, I was actually driving around. I was on a work, like a meeting with like maybe like 8 other people. And I was driving, I was near my house and there was a chicken in the road. And I interrupted the entire meeting to FaceTime everybody and show them the chicken in the road. And I went back to try to collect the chicken and catch it myself, but it was gone. It got away. This happened a while ago. Yeah, it was just there. And it's like that it's literally a chicken, like, and it was one of the white chickens, like it was like literally like it was like the same chicken that's on like the front of KFC.
Calling me ugly on the internet.
Yeah, getting
And
plastic
eventually-
surgery, nothing is gonna that's the worst decision you can possibly make.
She started posting less and less.
Yeah, what a surprise.
I don't really like giving people an opportunity to use my content as a way to bring me down about things that I say, and
Yeah.
things that I do, or the way that I look.
The hate reached a whole new level. All she wanted was for it to stop.
I can also be having.
Well, the problem is that, like, I mean, and you guys know this, like, I mean, I've never really made fun of the way she looked. I mean, yeah, she kind of looks like Lord Farquaad, but like, as I said, the reason why she looked so bad is that they washed out her face. They gave her the most unflattering hairstyle possible. And it's basically like, how can you make somebody look as bad as possible? That's what they did.
Greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats. When I tell you
Jesus.
that it's hard,
Jesus.
I just mean to be inside my brain. That's hard. And I'm there 24/7. I can't get out of it.
Which pushed Zegler to her breaking point.
And also,
People-
I think that it definitely does damage a lot of your causes whenever you do these videos and you're like, yeah, guys, I'm actually fucking crazy and my brain is a complete minefield and I don't really know what I'm thinking most of the time. I don't really have any emotional control and I'm upset constantly and I think I need to get plastic surgery and I'm obsessed with social media, but I can't stop using it. By the way, here are my political values and my political affiliations, and all of those are totally reasonable. Does that sound like a good advertisement? Yeah, it's bad for what? Yeah, it looks pretty bad, doesn't it?
have no sympathy for her. It's getting sick now. I don't know how much
No,
more
of
I can
course not.
take. It's haunting me. I cry every day. I just want it
Wow.
all to stop, she said. But sadly, not only was it not going to stop, it was about to get 100 times worse.
Yep.
Because when the movie was finally released, with a production budget of $270 million and $410 million in total,
$410 million. $410 million fucking dollars. That's a lot of money, guys.
after marketing costs, expectations were high. Although that didn't happen, it made just $43 million domestically and $44 million internationally in the first.
Wow. That's like 20%. Oh my God. Wow.
First opening
That's
weekend,
really bad.
which dropped by 66% the following weekend, pulling in only 14.3 million. It needed $500 million just to break even, but made only 182 million. The movie reached just 1.6 stars on IMDb.
I think it's one of the worst rated movies of all time. Because there's also not only Rachel Zegler hate, but there are other people that hate Gal Gadot because she's from Israel. So you have the people that are pro-Palestine that are downvoting the movie because of Gal Gadot, and you have the people that are pro-Israel that are downvoting the movie because of Rachel Zegler. So it's like you just a lose situation. It's just the worst. And it's not even about the movie. It's got nothing to do with the movie. The movie apparently sucked too. But yeah, on top of that, it's everything else. Double whammy wombo combo. I guess, yeah, everything about it was bad.
Making it the lowest rated film ever.
Wow.
It scored only 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. Meanwhile, dozens
And you
of
can see, by the way, this is another thing that I was talking about, is that, like, verified ratings, like, I don't know really if this is the same as Metacritic, but are these actually people that, are these, like, reviewers? I'm not sure if it's actually reviewers or not. Because like a lot of times the reviewers will give movies like this a higher rating because they don't want to, their paid review. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's audience score. I'm not sure. It could be journalists as well.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know how the website
Meanwhile,
works.
dozens of TikToks showed how empty the theaters were. On Reddit, when asked about how the movie did, employees responded, "I didn't even know it was out in theaters." Very
Didn't even know it was out. Jesus, man, that's bad.
bad. Between the 4 showings we had yesterday, we did 8 people for it.
8 people for 4 showings. They must have bought a lot of... I hope they bought a lot of popcorn. Because that's not looking good at all. Jesus.
So, who was to blame for all this? Well, of course, Rachel Zegler,
No, it's
right?
the internet's fault. It's the internet's fault, and it's men's fault. It's racism's fault. It's actually, you know who the real's fault is? Donald Trump did this to her.
Because she directed the film, wrote the script, styled her hair, and told the studio to spend $500 million on a remake no one asked for, right? No, Rachel had no fault in the film's failure. However, the saddest part is that Disney themselves started using her as a scapegoat. Suddenly, it wasn't Disney's movie anymore. It was Rachel Zegler's.
Rachel Zegler.
That's what you get. That's what you get. You try and go and put them, because she tried to entangle them in her worldview and her politics. That's what you get.
Snow White is officially the worst movie of all time on IMDb, so this is her fault. Really, Snow White is bad because this is Zegler's movie and not Disney's movie. It's her movie apparently. Like bro, posts like these, the review bombing on IMDb, and everything else in between the belly buttons have all been putting blame on Zegler for how Snow White is performing.
That's
Disney
right.
blatantly blamed Rachel for the failure.
I think that the movie probably sucked, and even if they had different actors in it, it probably wouldn't have done really well. But it's definitely doing worse because of her. Like, it just made things worse, more than anything. Obviously, right? Fucking obviously.
Yet the real reason was this.
But the reason why Snow White is flopping at the box office is not because of Zegler, it's because of Disney. And what's stupid is that they aren't taking any accountability. Like, I read this article where Disney...
Well, it's both. It's both. If she wasn't in the movie would not be successful. But she made the movie less successful. Both things are true.
was playing heavy damage control because insiders at Disney are using Zegler as a scapegoat. For example...
Good. Good. You want to be a martyr? Go ahead. Nobody else is going to die on your cross.
Her saying that the original Snow White is weird probably wasn't the best PR move.
Which
Of course it wasn't.
unsurprisingly led to even more trolling. She destroyed it, not Disney. It's Hollywood, baby.
Yep.
Zegler's acting was downright embarrassing. Easily one of the worst performances I've seen. Disney got scammed, but nothing concluded again that the movie was already terrible to begin with.
However, this was all when Disney knew very well they just made a bad movie. And also the film had issues long before its release, such as the ballooning budget. There was an unclear marketing strat, and apparently this was all one person's fault. Because the
Well,
reality...
yeah, because the thing is that, like, I understand why he's frustrated, and I think Disney does bear some responsibility of this. But if people don't like her because of what she's saying, and they don't want to see a movie because of her in the movie, I think that's pretty fucking fair, man. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Bro's trying to hit it, I swear.
is that the trailers, the marketing, the songs, and pretty much just the entire idea of a live-action remake made people not want to watch the movie.
To make matters worse,
he's
the
right.
film's producer's son stated, "Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous Disney IP with hundreds of millions on the line, had to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old..."
This post was so fucking based. Like, we hadn't... I don't think we've had something like this in Hollywood that happened. Do you remember? I think that, like, wasn't it Megan Fox that said that, like... I think it was, like, some director... I think it was Steven Spielberg or somebody like that was a Nazi. And then he just fired her from the movie. Like, I remember this happened, like, Michael Bay. Yeah, it was like the... Yeah, yeah, he just fired her. That was it. Never heard about that shit again. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to that. No, I'm not a Nazi. This is ridiculous. No, that's it. Good. It's a ridiculous thing to say. Yeah.
Employee for dragging her personal politics into promoting the movie. She hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires, risking the work of thousands.
True.
Narcissism is not something to be coddled. I hate her comments and politics. It was awful. But completely blaming her is insane. Therefore, Joe
It's
Rogan's
not totally her fault, but it's partially her fault. And also, even if it's not totally her fault, that doesn't mean that you have to like her now.
said this.
But imagine you spend $250 million and you get some young girl and you don't kind of talk to her about like, hey, you know, don't get political. You're young.
Nah. They told her that and she did it anyway, man. You really think they didn't tell her that? I mean, they probably told her that 50 fucking times.
And I know you have opinions about things, but should be just about the movie.
Yeah.
Eventually coming to this conclusion.
So now they've put it all on her. Now they've failed. Here's what happened. She made the cardinal error of saying free Palestine on Twitter. So she could say all that men are bad and it's...
Baldy's cooking here. See, he knows. He knows, man.
This and that. But once you do that, now they've put the entire weight of the failure upon her. When really, it's like making Jimmy Fallon apologize for doing a Chris Rock impression.
As a result, for the first time, Rachel started receiving some positive comments. I really don't like Rachel, but sending death threats and insults, that's just unnecessary.
Of course.
You know, Rachel Zegler is a human. She's not perfect. She does things
The only reason this person is defending her is because she's aligned on the Palestine issue. This has nothing to do with her as a person. It has nothing to do with your actual opinion of her. This is just ideological alignment and you defending them out of a form of tribalism. That's it. Nothing like this should be taken seriously at all.
Shouldn't, and sometimes she says things she shouldn't. But nothing will ever convince me she's a bad person. No amount of hate will ever be justified against her. Now, it would be an understatement to say Rachel's mental health didn't take a hit. But after everything that's happened, it'll be interesting to see where her career goes from here.
She done.
That's it. I'm gonna get one of those.
I'll be real. Like, she done. Like, I don't see, like, I mean, because the thing is, the internet, when the internet decides that they hate somebody, they hate them. They fucking hate them, and that's it. And I feel like, especially with people like this that have like these types of viewpoints, I don't see her coming back from this at all. I think she is totally fucking cooked with this. Yeah, absolutely. What? Island boys are homeless? Yeah, I guess so, right? Put the fries in the bag? Well, I don't know what she's going to do now. Every movie she's done has been a flop. Look it up. I guess so, right? She's just waiting for a comeback story? For sure, guys. Definitely. It's extremely hard to fix internet hate if you don't fundamentally change. Yeah, and also, I mean, she's just an obnoxious person. I mean, let me go back. I'll link you guys the video. But yeah, Disney's laying off hundreds of employees. Yes, but Disney has almost 250,000 employees. So, like, laying off hundreds of employees sounds like, oh my God, that's a really big deal. But it's actually not a big deal at all. It's antithetical to what an actor is, first and foremost. They're supposed to portray a role, not project their own personality onto the whole project. I think that good actors are able to do a bit in the middle, right? And it's like, for example, like Samuel Jackson, whenever he was going to play Mace Windu in Star Wars, he was the one that wanted the purple lightsaber. So I think that when an actor can put themselves in a movie, that's a good thing, right? But the thing is that, what's the difference? It's a good actor. That's the big difference.